Hello, I'm Jeremy Reimer, and I'll be your guide to the most interesting stories each month from astronomy, space science, and science fiction. The big news this month was the safe return of astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley from the International Space Station. They made history 2 months ago by becoming the first astronauts to launch from a privately built rocket, the SpaceX Falcon 9. Their capsule splashed down on August the 2nd off the Florida coast. This was the first time Americans had splashed down into an ocean since 1975. While I miss the elegant landings of the space shuttle, this is clearly a new era in crewed spaceflight. Since both the Falcon 9 rocket and the Crew Dragon personnel pod are reusable, getting to space is much cheaper now than it has ever been. Looking a little further out, a new study has predicted that the number of rogue planets in our galaxy, that is, planets wandering freely between the stars and not tied to any one solar system, may actually outnumber the stars themselves. To find out for sure, a new space telescope, due to launch in 2025, will try to capture a glimpse of these wandering worlds. They're too small, dark, and distant to see directly, but the telescope will use micro-lensing techniques to detect them. What's micro-lensing? It's using the planet as a sort of gravitational magnifying glass. Since light bends slightly around heavy objects, a planet passing in front of a distant star will briefly magnify its brightness. Speaking of stars, astronomers have come up with a plausible theory for the mysterious dimming of the red giant Betelgeuse earlier this year. Observations from the Hubble telescope suggest that the star vomited up a giant mass of gas and dust that briefly clouded our view of the star. Some of the dark cloud was made up of carbon atoms, a basic building block of all life on Earth. Ancient versions of these stellar ejections, combined with supernova explosions, created and distributed all the elements we see on our planet today. Betelgeuse might still blow up in a massive supernova any day now, so keep watching the skies. There are no sci-fi video game releases that I could find this month. August is usually slow for new games, as the industry gets ready for the massive fall season. Still, a new downloadable story for The Outer Worlds is expected to drop next month, so be on the lookout for that one. The sci-fi show of the month is Star Trek Lower Decks, available on CBS All Access in the US, Crave in Canada, and Netflix in other countries. This is an animated show that focuses on the lowest-ranking crew members on a less important starship. In the first episode, Second Contact, the crew of the USS Cerritos tries to fill in the gaps with a new alien species after another ship got all the First Contact glory. The show is played for laughs and contains a lot of goopy alien-related comedy and zany violence, but it still tries to stick to the same Star Trek universe as the main series. I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. The science fiction book of the month is The Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal. It's the 3rd book in the Lady Astronaut series, set in a parallel universe where a meteor impact in 1952 creates an impending climate cataclysm. This looming threat forces nations around the world to fast-track their plans for space colonization. In The Relentless Moon, the goal is to get as many people off the Earth as possible, but it is being threatened by riots and sabotage. Astronaut Nicole Worgan has to navigate the Earth, the Moon, and her husband's political ambitions. I just started reading it, and it's already a lot of fun. That's all the space and sci-fi news for this month. Tune in next month.